Well, the bittersweet time has come. I am going to be parting ways with the Charger, a car that I thought I would keep forever. Everyone that knew me thought I would keep it forever. And it's not that I'm over the Charger necessarily, but I do want to experience new things, new cars. And as much as I love the Charger, I don't have the budget or the space to just collect a bunch of cars. And you hear those stories of one day someone goes and tracks down their old car and they go back and buy it again. I would love for that to be the story for me in this car one day. But I have only had, two cool cars in my life, the two that I currently have now, and I really want to try some new things. So we're gonna today talk about the Charger. I'm gonna give an overview of the mods I did, what I liked, what I didn't like about the car. And then we're gonna hop in, go for a drive, and talk about why I'm selling it, and just overall my thoughts on selling it, my real thoughts on the experience, the driving experience, all of that. So this car, super easy to own. Never had any real issues. There's something with the AC. I charged it up, and then the charge lasts for 3 years, and it's leaked out again. So there's a problem with the AC, but other than that, the only other problem I've had is the brakes. Rotors seem to warp somewhat easy if you drive hard. I'm on my second set of rotors, and they do have some vibration only when you're going really fast and braking hard, or going really steep downhill and braking hard. But other than that, there's been no problems with this car. As far as mods, and I wrote it all down to make sure I don't forget anything. For mods, we have a catch can, which by the end of this car's run, they end up coming stock because it was an important thing, because there's a lot of blow by in the 6.4 Hemi. But when I bought the car, that was a common mod to do. Then I did strut braces front and rear, and you do lose some of the trunk space, which we'll talk about trunk space, but that I thought really helps stiffen up the steering and the handling as much as affordable mods can. Did springs along with that to help the handling and the steering, all that. I thought the combination of the front and rear strut braces and the lowering springs alone did a lot to really change how this car felt and how this car handled. And then we just really have appearance stuff. We have the wicker bill on the back that we did. That's pretty common in Chargers. We have the roof spoiler here. Of course, we have regular tint and we have rain guards. And then up front, all we did was yellow fog lights. And then also, I forgot, in back, we did tail light tint and debadge to the back just to make that look a little bit cleaner, a little bit better than it does from stock. But other than that, I didn't really modify the car. I actually bought an intake that I never put on the car. It's a leg maker intake. Those are really nice intakes. By the time I bought it and I was ready to put it on, I didn't really want to cut the little piece out of the engine bay you do and modify the cars. And then I actually had the later grille when they updated, where it had the 2 nostrils on the front and no badge, because I actually would rather not have the Scat badge on front. But I just never put those on. We went to put it on one day, and I just didn't have some extensions that I needed to get into the bumper, to get the bumper off, to put the grille on. Because it's not just the ones right under the hood and right in the rear in the wheel wells. It's also up in the bumper. There's a couple that you got to get to, which I just never got to, and so I never did that. So not very modified. As far as problems, as I mentioned, the AC and then the brakes, which aren't a big deal for just daily driving. It's only when you're driving it hard, like when I was on Tail of the Dragon, which I'll link that video down below. I didn't talk about it in that video, but if you want to see me rip it on Tail of the Dragon, I'll link that down below. And then, sorry if there's wind. The other issue was the door trim. It's a common thing in Chargers that the door trim starts to separate. I talked about this in my New Year's resolution videos when I talked about all the little car care things I want to do. That was one of them. That's a pretty common thing that happens just with Chargers in general. You can just super glue it down, pull the door panel off, staple it. It's pretty easy. Getting it replaced is pretty expensive. So as far as pros of this car, first of all, V8s. Who doesn't love V8s? It sounds great. It's got a great power band. It's a lot of fun. And out of the 6.4 liter V8, you get 485 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque. So not a weak car by any means, certainly a fast car. Everybody that thinks you need 6, 7, 800, 1,000 horsepower is ridiculous. This was a plenty fast car. Plus it sounds good, and overall it's really reliable. Some people have issues with the MDS, which is the cylinder deactivation in this motor, where it goes down to 4 cylinders when cruising on the highway. A lot of people will disable it for reliability issues. I, at 64-ish thousand miles, have not had an issue with that, knock on wood, but who knows, that could be a problem anytime in the future, but I don't think it's a common problem. Another pro is the transmission. The ZF 8-speed in this shifts really good. It's mostly smooth. Sometimes it feels like it gets a little caught up when I'm not driving aggressive because it is a learning transmission, and it learns how you drive. So sometimes the shifts feel a little awkward when I'm driving not as aggressive as I might on some back roads, or not as easy as I might just cruising from light to light. But overall, the transmission's really good. It's got a manual mode, of course, but it shifts well, and it's just a good overall transmission. The next is the looks. I've always loved the way they look. I think of modern cars, it's one of the better looking cars. It's not a especially gorgeous car, but it's got great proportions. It looks muscular. I think it's a very good looking car, and it kind of imbibes both modern looks and old school muscle, and I've always loved the way they look, and to this day I get compliments on the way it looks. And finally, one of the pros is the size. You get a huge trunk, you get a very roomy back seat, you get a lot of room up front, and even if you put your seat all the way back as the driver, there's still plenty of leg room right behind you. It's a very spacious car, and it can fit a lot of stuff in the trunk. Moved across the country in it twice, moved to Arizona, back to Arizona, and then moved down to North Carolina, and you're able to pack a lot of stuff in there. When we moved across the country, one time we had a dog, 2 people, and a car full of stuff. Of course, did ship some stuff, and then when we moved back, we had a cat, a dog, 2 people, a car full of stuff, and we were able to fit a lot of stuff in the car in the move. And then finally is you get some attention from the car if that's something you're into. People will come up to you and say, hey, nice car. That's not an uncommon thing. I still get that a lot, especially like when I'm in the South, guys will come up and they just love the muscle cars. So if you like getting compliments on your car, this car, even still with all of them made, with the Hellcat Exist, a Scat Pack Charger still gets you compliments. So as far as the cons, we listed one of the pros as size. That's great for road trips. It's great for driving people around. The size can also be limiting. Where I live in Western North Carolina, out in the Asheville area, there's a lot of tight, tiny roads. In fact, driving up here, I'm by Pisgah Mountain on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but coming up Pisgah Highway, someone was over the yellow line and there's nowhere to go. And as a big car, there's literally nowhere to go. And then that size also comes into play with the whole lowering. This car, very low to the ground, even though it's only on springs. And the size makes that lowering tough because it's such a long car with such a long wheelbase and fairly long overhangs front and rear that, there's a lot of lowered cars that don't scrape or wouldn't get beached, and I would scrape and get beached. I've scraped the car a bunch of times because it's so long and low. Low's not bad, long's not bad. Long and low can be a bad combination. And so, sometimes it's hard to fit this into tight turns, into tight parking lots, or over speed bumps because of the size of the car. So size can be a con as well. My next con that I actually had written down was low and long. So that kind of goes in with the size. But the size, it's just hard to fit at places, and then you have the low and long problem. And then the only other con I really had with this car was some of the Dodge community, whether that's takeover kids or I am not a fan of all the aftermarket lights and grills and wheels and rainbow LED headlights and blah, blah, blah. And you get a lot of what I think is kind of tacky appearance mods in the Charger community. And honestly, that goes the same for some sects of the Corvette community, Mustangs, Challengers. Just something about American muscle cars. A lot of people love the tacky lighting, and then you have the takeover kids. And so you can get associated with that. Hopefully, you don't run into people that associate you with that. And if you are that, the lighting community, that's one thing. You do your tacky things that I think are tacky, if that makes you happy. Takeover kids, stop it. So the only cons really have are size, and that this one in specific is low and long, not a great combination. And then just some of the community, some of the Charger community, some of the sects of it aren't great. But that's my mods, my problems with the car, my pros, my cons. So let's go take it for a drive and talk more about my decision and my love for this car and how I'm feeling about getting rid of this car. All right, so let's go for a drive and talk Charger. First of all, I forgot to mention a couple things when I was outside of the car that I really like. I like the infotainment. I think it's quick enough in this car, especially when you're using the Apple CarPlay. I like the performance pages a lot, although you don't get as much as if you had an SRT instead of a Scat Pack or as a Hellcat, which obviously is an SRT. Performance page is still good. Launch mode, some customizable stuff. I really like that as well. So I like, the infotainment, the functionality of the screen. I don't mind that the middle screen, which is customizable to a little bit of a point, in the gauge cluster, I don't mind that I have 2 manual gauges. I actually prefer manual gauges. And there's the little bit of customization, and there's all the different pages throughout the center gauge cluster screen, which I really like. So I like the related screen things, and I like that things are buttons in this car. So those are things that I really like. So as far as my love for this car. This was the first car that I bought on my own. It was one of my realistic dream cars, and the car that I'm planning on replacing with, actually, I almost bought instead of this, but I couldn't resist the big sedan with the big V8. That was just something I really, really wanted, and it was something that I was really looking for when I bought a car, and of course, I had it. So I bought this car, and if I, take until May to get a new car, and if I have the new car before this is uploaded, I'll throw a teaser clip somewhere in the video. Not going to tell you where, so you got to try to find it or watch the whole video of what I picked up instead. But I love this car to death. It met so much of what I was looking for when I bought the car. It's such a cool car. It was a cool first car to buy on your own. Just a great muscle car, great modern muscle car, and I absolutely love it. So why am I getting rid of it? Well, I'm getting rid of it because it's just time. I love this car dearly. It will be very bittersweet when I get rid of it, but I love this car dearly. But it's just time. I'm ready to experience some new things, as I said earlier in the video. So this car holds a really special place in my heart. Like I said, it was the first car that I bought on my own. The first car I had was a Ford Focus. This was the first car I bought on my own. It was something I really dreamed of. And it was something that I accomplished, which is great. And I'm very proud of myself for accomplishing it at a young age. I'm 31 now. I bought it when I was 23, pretty young to buy the car when I did. I actually drove 2 hours from where I was living in Maryland to Coons in Northern Virginia because they had such a good deal on it. And I just could not help myself there. But this car was with me through a lot. I went to some Cruise Week events and H2O in Ocean City, Maryland. I went on road trips in this car, which I don't have pictures of, but down to Carolina Beach, down in North Carolina. I moved to Arizona in this car, like I mentioned, and then I moved back from Arizona to Maryland. Then I moved down to North Carolina. I went on my first date with my fiance in this car. So this car does hold a lot of special memories, and I honestly will probably shed a tear legitimately when I get rid of this car, no matter how excited I am for the next car. But this car, I went to Tail of the Dragon, like I mentioned, which that's linked down below. But I did a lot of fun things in this car. I hit a lot of back roads. I had a lot of fun driving this car, whether it was road trips, back roads, stoplight to stoplight racing. I remember one of my old coworkers' neighbors, he was convinced his four-cylinder turbo Camaro was fast, and he wanted to race the Charger. So, just little things, racing other car friends, up to the speed limit, and of course in Mexico. But I had a lot of fun in this car. I'm having fun in now on the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's a lot of great driving roads in this part of the country. But had a lot of fun in this car. Loved this car. Still love this car. But it's just time to move on. Hang on. Tunnel. I don't know if I'll get any good audio on my GoPro in it. But so it's just time to move on. I'm going to be moving on to another fun car that's actually just as fast. It's looking like I'm not going to be moving into another V8, which sucks, but it's fine. I would love to have another V8, but if I don't, it is what it is, of course. Speed is speed. Good powertrains are good powertrains, and they're fun no matter what. Like I said, I would love to own this car again. It's fun driving. I still love it. I still love the sound of it, everything. I'm kind of just rambling at this point because it's hard to let go of this car, even if just mentally and it's not here yet, and even if I really do want to move on. It's just a fun car, and if you've ever thought about owning a Charger and you can get a Scat Pack or above, I would highly recommend it, even though I do have issues with how low and long it is, especially if you live in an area that doesn't have a lot of steep entrance ramps to places and is a flat area, especially if you can go hit some fun driving roads or you got a drag strip near you. It's definitely fun. I'm getting a little bit shaken here on this road. But as for the replacement, I'll give some hints. I'm getting another sedan. It's going to be just as quick but not have as much horsepower. It looks like I'm going to be getting my first turbo car. That's what I'm looking at. It'll be my first turbo car, my first all-wheel drive car. So that'll be a lot of fun. I am going to just probably trade this car in at the dealership just to not deal with the hassle of a self-sale, and I don't think it's necessarily worthy of cars and bids because I have some issues on it. I have some mods on it, and it's just such a common car, and it's not worthy of bring a trailer because I don't have AI pictures of it. So I'm just going to trade it in at the dealership. I'm going to severely miss this car. I love this car. I would own this car again. I would road trip in this car easily, and it's something that will always be special to me. But it's just time to move on from the Charger. The cost of ownership wasn't bad at all, other than gas, especially with what's been going on recently. Gas has been a huge pain in my wallet. But other than that, for maintenance, it's just been oil changes and stuff, and so nothing real big deal. No super high cost of ownership. Like I said, not a lot of maintenance needed to be done. And so, yeah, it was an easy car to own. It was a car that I would recommend owning if you've ever thought of one. You're not going to get the best handling car ever, but you know, with some mods, it'll handle good enough. Especially, I just had springs, be great on coilovers, and some other chassis bracing mods you can do. There's a lot of mods out there. There's a lot of people that have owned them, so there's a lot of community help that you can find. And it's been a great ownership experience. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just rambling at this point because I don't want to let it go, but it's time. I love it. I'll always love it. But yeah, so that's it. That's going to be it for me and the Charger. I'm pretty sure by the time I upload this video, I'll either have gotten rid of the Charger or will have within a few days after its upload. So that's it for the Charger. I hope that you weren't here for Charger content because I didn't really make much of it, to be honest. And so I hope if you are subscribed, you stay around. And if you're not, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see my content and see it first, especially with the new car coming. And please don't forget to like and comment down below what you think of the Charger. If you think I'm making a mistake getting rid of it, let me know what you think about Chargers or my decision. And keep an eye out for the new car. We got a lot of content coming up, whether it's the new car or some stuff that I'm going to make. I'm about to go to Arizona. So we got that content coming up as well. Just kind of rambling again. Because honestly, I feel like once I hit stop recording with this video, this car is gone, even though I'll still have it for however many days after this review gets posted up. But all in all, an 8 out of 10 car. I wish it handled a little better, and I wish I didn't lower it or was slightly smaller. But 8 out of 10 car, 9 out of 10 ownership, awesome car. But thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.